Hi, I'm Sarah Elkins, and this is my capstone presentation for the MBA program at Western Governors University. I'm here to tell you why I'm the ideal candidate for the Director of External Relations. My presentation topics today are leading people and teams, developing sustainable solutions, serving customers, managing products and services, managing technology and innovation, assessing the competitive environment, and planning for the future in the global marketplace, as all of those topics relate to the position. Regarding leading people and teams, an external relations director must have skills as a facilitator and understand how to lead a professional team by recognizing the value of a diverse group, helping others within the team identify their own biases, creating a motivating atmosphere for staff, managing conflict between team members by recognizing underlying tensions, and building trust and confidence with the team and with external stakeholders. I have some experience in these areas. I'm a facilitator. I have hundreds of meetings in my experience. I have a reputation for creating a comfortable environment among the people participating in my meetings. I have an ability to relate to a diverse audience. I've done everything from teach homeschool children and their parents to teaching seniors how to use computers, also computer classes over at the local technology college. I have a reputation of leading groups from what could be a tense and distrusting environment to a team-building and trusting atmosphere. Regarding developing sustainable solutions, a director of external relations has to continually seek innovative methods of directing programs to reach the target audiences. In addition to developing management strategies within the program, a director of external relationships must develop sustainable funding for programs and plan for future policy changes. Creating and maintaining long-term relationships with strategic partners will help to build reliance and trust between organizations, which will then create a sustainable business model. What do I bring to the table regarding developing sustainable solutions? I create and maintain long-term relationships with a variety of stakeholders. I coordinate meetings among people I believe can help each other to reach their professional goals as well as their organizational goals. I connect with people and their projects. I help build reputations for people, and I bring long-term sustainable solutions in fundraising and project success through my ability to develop those relationships. Serving customers. A director of external communications has to serve a multitude of customers, beginning with their internal stakeholders, the staff of the program, also the directors of the organization. A director of external communications has to recognize and meet the needs and expectations of staff by being proactive in resolving conflict. That person must hire competent employees, provide those employees with motivation to succeed, such as goals and rewards for productivity. A director of external relations also has external stakeholders, funding partners, implementation partners, communities in which the person does their work with the specific programs that they're involved. The Director of External Communications has to meet the reporting needs in order to encourage future funding and the transparent use of funds. They have to provide clear communication regarding what the process is for reporting so efforts aren't duplicated. They must bring customers together through the use of a variety of media and face-to-face discussions, communicate potential obstacles and concerns, and use effective media strategies to creatively communicate project successes and partner information. Without those project successes being available and visible by the media and globally, it's as if the project never occurred. And of course, funding partners want to be recognized for the successes that they help create. What do I bring to the table? Well, I serve all of my customers well. My internal customers, I strive to be consistent. I work to empower competent and motivated staff. I motivate staff by recognizing how effective they are in using a variety of rewards. I work to identify the personal goals of my staff, and I commit to using those staff skills and the goals to meet my organizational goals. External customers. I have excellent oral and written communication skills. My experience in creating reporting mechanisms and processes is critical in keeping customers connected to their roles within the projects. I also understand media strategy, and I can implement effective goals to further those project goals. Managing products and services. Naturally, a director of external relationships has to clearly communicate with funding and partnering organizations. In this case, a director of external communications, that is the product, that is the service, is directing external communications to make sure that people recognize what's going on within the organization. That director has to manage relationships between the staff and the external stakeholders. We have to manage the programs being implemented globally. Have to have a clear understanding of the global education trends, policies, and processes necessary for policy change. This director of external communications has to be consistent in the communication to media, putting those success stories and strategies out front. What do I offer? I'm a clear communicator. I make sure my audience understands my perspective through altering my tone and the method of my messages to fit the audience needs. I adjust processes when necessary in order to make services more pertinent, appropriate, and useful for implementation. I can effectively create media communication strategies to maximize the effect of our project successes. Managing technology and innovation. Director of External Relations and Communication has to use multiple methods of communication, including email, telephone, web-based conference, blog, etc. That Director of Communications has to recognize communication needs, including the preferred technology used for all stakeholders. If I have a customer that needs phone calls and phone support and really dislikes any kind of email support, that customer needs to make sure that, or I need to make sure that that customer receives that special attention. The Director of External Relations and Communication has to seek and understand the use of multimedia opportunities in a variety of communication needs. There's a potential to collect a large amount of data from a target audience using current and efficient online methods. What do I offer in this area? I've used multiple communication methods in my work with the university system to deal with a limited budget. One of my methods was to use web conference software, which helped put the discussion into visual terms and improved my telephone communication in the conference calls. I learned tools in conference calls that I could use to facilitate the calls more effectively. Without that face-to-face and recognizing facial expressions and body language, you really have to listen more carefully when you're on the phone and recognize tone and when things are getting difficult to understand. I learned to recognize individual communication needs when I worked with the university system. Instead of responding by email, sometimes I had to clarify the tone of a previous email by making a phone call. I made sure that certain groups had an initial meeting in person to develop trust and encourage professional, courteous behavior. Some groups didn't require that first face-to-face meeting. I had to recognize which ones did and budget appropriately. Assessing the competitive environment. The required competencies are to keep up-to-date data about the top competitors among the hundreds of thousands of education-focused foundations. I have to know staff needs and competitive actions of foundations in hiring quality, motivated staff. The Director of External Communications has to keep contact and positive relationships with funders and staff. The Director of External Relationships has to focus on relationship building with some competitors to achieve economies of scale and scope in providing certain services to stakeholders. In other words, you keep your friends close, but you keep your enemies closer. What do I offer in terms of assessing the competitive environment? I have experience in recruitment, and I understand and can demonstrate methods of finding, recruiting, hiring, and retaining qualified, motivated staff. I know how to use my resources to create and maintain relationships with organizations that may have been competitors in order to build synergistic, resource-sharing relationships. future in the global marketplace. A director of external relationships and communication has to have knowledge of the international education policies and current trends. They have to be aware of the international competitive environment, other educational foundations looking for funding and staff from similar sources. A director of external communications has to have exceptional communication skills and networks of peers and colleagues. What do I offer? One of my greatest strengths is that I know the resources available to me and I use them effectively. I know how to research the education industry in order to gain more understandings of opportunities and of my competitors. My passion is to learn about new cultures, try new foods, and travel. These personal characteristics will help me work and succeed in the global marketplace. In conclusion, I have a variety of professional experiences, and I can be successful in any environment. My career experience spans from waiting tables in college in order to make my tuition payments. I've facilitated hundreds of meetings with faculty across the university system in Montana. I've organized and analyzed thousands of records within the university system in order to create a system of common course numbering across the state. I connect people to assist me in a variety of ways and make sure that I know my resources in any new environment. I have communication experience in a variety of media. What can I bring to you? I bring a motivated, energetic, and sometimes humorous attitude to work. I'm efficient, I'm dedicated. People trust me to make effective decisions, and I know my resources, and I use them to great advantage. Thank you very much.